everybody. This is the Healing Kings podcast, and I'm your host, Drew Cause. And today's topic, we're going to just get right into it. I'm going to just give you what I got. It is called Get Back in the Game. I'm talking to my fellas today. Ladies, if you're listening, come along for the ride. We all know that life is never going to be fair. If you think that, please let me inform you that life is not fair. You will not always get what you want. You will not always feel good. You will not always feel that you can move forward. Those are the things that are going to happen in life. If you can get used to knowing that, not accustomed to just accepting it, but used to knowing that, the battles ahead will always be a lot easier to conquer. Now, I want to talk about getting back in the game. Your mind is never going to allow you to just move forward without a fight. Your mind wants you always to be as comfortable as you possibly can. That's what your mind's going to do. Every time you set a goal to grow, to move forward, to do something better, your mind will always try to diminish the amount of work you should do. This is true. It has happened to me. It happens to me, and it will happen to you. So let's just get used to knowing that your mind is always going to tell you, don't go for that run. Don't get up and do that video. Don't go apologize. Your mind's going to always tell you something that keeps you comfortable. There's a quote I used to say back in the day, and I put it on the shirt: comfort breeds mediocrity. I'm talking today to people who do not want to remain mediocre. I'm talking to people today that know there's more ahead and they know they got to chase it. I'm talking to people today that are sick of losing. I'm not calling you a loser. I'm telling you and asking you, are you tired of losing? There's a difference. You're not a loser. Just are you tired of losing? What do I mean by losing, Drew? You're letting life pass you by. You're letting life just be life. Everyone's saying this saying nowadays, life be lifing. When you going to hit back? Life is going to punch you in the face. Life is going to do things that are not fair. What will you do? And I want to use this episode to push you out of a place of being comfortable. I want to use this episode to push you out of a place of just staying stagnant. How do we do that, Drew? Number one, you have to realize that it's in your DNA to win. It's in your DNA to win, not to just settle. I've never been a person who liked participation trophies. I'm sorry, you guys can get at me. My daughters are not going to get accustomed to getting participation trophies. I think it's excellent that people try. It's remarkable. I don't want them to get used to feeling like just because they showed up that they deserve something. No, I want them to know and to understand that their DNA is to win. It's in their DNA. I want them to know that they can strive for more. I want them to know that I want them to strive for more. And I want them to know that as I challenge them greatly, I'm going to support them greatly. So, fellas, you got to realize, number one, it's in your DNA to win. This is why you don't feel comfortable when life is just lifing, or this is why you don't feel comfortable when you're just skating by. You know for a fact that there's something inside of you kicking that's telling you, get back up. Go after it. What are you waiting for? We always like to wait until we have all the answers. By the time you have all the answers, it has already passed you by. The opportunity has already moved on. Go after it. It's in your DNA to win. The second thing, fellas, you want to realize is that your family is watching you. Yes, that may add some pressure. That's okay. I'm all for self-care. If anyone knows me, I'm all for self-care. I believe in self-care. I advocate for self-care. What I don't advocate for is us using self-care as a reason to not actually start doing work. Yes, take your naps, get your rest. I'm all for it, all for it. I just don't want us to get into a place where we don't realize our family is watching us and you're called to lead. Fellas, we gotta realize that you're called to lead. It's hard, it's grueling, it's discouraging sometimes, it's disappointing sometimes. I get that. I'm with that. I feel that too. But we're called to lead. And if you're called to lead, God will equip you. If you pay attention, if you ask him, he'll put people around you, he'll put people in front of you who can help you out of those ruts. This podcast is made for a reason like that, to help you out of a rut, to push you out of a comfort zone, to push you to greatness. You are leading a family who's watching you. They're watching what you do when you get discouraged. They're watching what you do when you get tired. They're watching what you do when you don't get your way. They're watching you when you succeed. They're watching you put in the work. If you don't do it for anybody else, do it for the people who are watching you. There was one time in my life and I told my wife, I said, I don't want to live. I don't want to live. I don't feel like there's anything worth living anymore. It wasn't a shot at her. And I said, the thing that's keeping me going right now is Aaliyah and y'all. But I don't want to live for me. I was in a funk. I was in a place where I was just accepting defeat. Life was lifing. I got discouraged. I got depressed. And I was like, I just don't know what to keep fighting for. And if that's you, I want to tell you, it's in your DNA to win, man. God is with you. People are rooting for you, even if you can't see it and you don't know it. But God's with you, man. God will push you. God will push you. He will pull you. He'll put people near you. He'll put people in front of you. Ask God, who is around me that you want me to lean into to get this extra push, to get this help? But you got a family to lead, man. They can't lead themselves. They need you. And because you're needed, it shows also that you're valuable, which brings me to my last point. You have to recognize that you are valuable, that you matter. And this is why you can't get used to losing. If you didn't matter, cool, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. If you didn't matter, cool, I wouldn't be on you so hard. If you didn't matter, I wouldn't say much to you, but you matter, man. You're valuable as a man. You're valuable as a person. You're valuable. You matter, and you have to keep showing up every day, giving life everything you got. I need to tell myself, if my 50% looks like I'm sick or something like that, I got to get up and give my 100%. I got to give all I got because I don't know if I have tomorrow. You don't know if we got tomorrow, so we got to get after it today. We got to go win. Fellas, if that looks like getting into therapy, if that looks like talking to another brother, if that looks like going to get a life coach, if it looks like going by the water and yelling and screaming and crying, you got to do what you got to do, man. But you got to keep moving forward. It's in your DNA to win. You got people who you're leading and you matter. Get that in your head. This is not just me trying to pump you up. I want you to realize it's in your DNA to win. If it's in your DNA to win, that means you're designed to do this. You're designed to win. It's not something you put on. You're not putting on greatness. It's already in you. We're pulling it out in this podcast. We're pushing you to realize that. And because it's in my DNA, I have to recognize that there is a fight. There's a fight to get me not to know that. There's a fight to get me to not recognize who I am. There's a fight to get me to recognize that I can do powerful things. I can do mighty things. As the scripture would say, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. But there's a fight so that I don't know that. And I have this fight all the time. There are times, every time I get on this mic, you shouldn't be doing this, Drew. No one's listening to you. And I fight back because there's somebody out there who needs to hear this. There's some brother out there who won't give up today because they're going to hear this and they're going to move. It's some lady, some mother out there who's going to realize that my son is a king. My son has the DNA of a winner. My son has what it takes to lead when it's his time to lead. And my son matters. And that's why we do it. Think of a reason bigger than yourself, fellas. If you can't do it for you, think of a reason that's bigger than you to do it for. But you got to get up. You got to go after life. You got to go win. Comfort breeds mediocrity, and you are not mediocre. You are not meant to be mediocre. So get up and go after it. Go after it with everything you got. And remember, go be great.